Hello guys, and welcome in my first game engine development vlog. So today I want to show you my game engine which I'm working on for past few months. So I have decided to go with similar engine as the Unity, but using C++. So I have a component entity based game engine. So let's run it from the Visual Studio. So currently my engine looks like that. So I have a basic few different scenes set already, and I'll maybe walk you through the engine, what it has currently. Not everything is fully working yet, so if the engine is crashed, probably it's not something I'll be fixing in the future. So I have decided to go with similar style to the Unity game engine because I think it's really good. And I really like the design of the Unity and how everything is working. So in my engine I have a tool window where you have all of the scene elements, all of the entities. So let's say for the background I have a different components, transform component and image component. From the transform component, for every single object you can change the position, rotation, and you can change the scale as well. Okay, the rotation pivot point is used actually for the 3D models. It's not probably the best idea to have it here, but it is there just for now. In the image component, by the way, I can actually remove every single component apart from the transfer component. Every single component have a remove component button. So from the image component, I can press these three dots and I can select different image. So let's say I want to go with different background. So I have a different background here. I just double click it and the engine is loading it straight away. Okay, then below I have the add component button. So from here I have a list of available components. So let's say I want to add the behavior component. So the behavior component is a component which holding the execution script. So every single component can have a multiple behavior components where you can implement the behavior for the certain entity. So let's say for the Blue Ninja I have a behavior component already implemented and it has assigned new object script. So the new object script, if I go back to the Visual Studio and go to the new object script, is a C++ script where I actually, in the update function, I just checking if we're pressing the mouse button. If we do, then we just moving the Ninja to 1 unit forward. If I press the right button, it's gonna go backward 1 unit, okay? So if we wanna test, as you see, if I press on the scene, nothing happened. This is because we are in the editor mode. If I press play here, we are switching to the game mode, and then all of the scripts will be executing now. So if I press now, the engine and the sign is moving forward. Okay, so let's say I want to add the same behavior script for my background. So by selecting the background, I have my behavior script, and from the list of the script I can choose which script I want to add to. So let's say new object script. Then now when I press play, the background is moving as well. Okay, just the rock is staying. So this is the simple implementation. I can also switch to the full window view. So by pressing F1 is a full window. Okay. The other window is a project structure, the project files. So this project files is displaying currently the physical directories of where the engine is sitting. So in my assets I have different directories created. So I have the engine graphics. So the engine graphics contain all of the UI graphics which I'm using for the engine. So if I click on this folder, I have everything displayed. I can double click on the image, and the Windows Photo Viewer will open it for me, so I can edit anything. I have fonts. I have engine UI, engine graphics. I have a graphics as well. It's gonna take a while to actually load all of the graphics because we are in the debug mode. So I can scroll throughout all of the graphics available for me. I have a GUI, so this is like a old implementation of the UI system. I probably will update it soon. I have my models, scenes, so different scenes available for the engine. I have a shaders as well. So let's say if I want to modify the image fragment shader, I can open it, and is open straight away with the editor, with the Notepad++. I can modify it, save it, and the engine will automatically load the shader. And I have a standard models, which is going to be used to, let's say, cube for the rotation, for the camera, which is not implemented yet, but this is something I'm going to do in the future. I have also different scenes available. So we are currently in the splash screen scene. The names are not probably the best, but it's something that I really didn't pay attention to. So I have a test scene. In the test scene, I have a different images, different objects. So I have my player. I can actually reposition it. So if I press play here, as you can see, I have a sprite animations. So all of the sprites will be animate. So let's say I wanna add animation, sprite animation for another bone. So if I select the bone, I can have a sprite editor component, and I have the animations. So currently there is no animations available for this sprite. If I want to add an animation for this certain sprite, I can open the sprite editor, and I have a sprite sheet edit here, and I can add the add animation button. So let's say spin. I want to add the spin animation. I can select the animation, and I can select the certain frames which I wanna execute the sprite. So let's say I don't want to go forward, I want to go backward. So I can select like from here, and the sprites will be executing in this order. In the future, this frame will display the certain frame, but this is something I haven't implemented yet. I mean, it's theoretically is implemented, but I was actually lazy to put it in. So if I close this window now, animation name will have a spin animation. If I select the spin animation, I can press play. As you can see, these two bones animating. I can change the frame rate, so I can make the animations quicker or slower. As you see, this bone is animating quicker, slower. I can stop animation. I can start. Okay, I can actually change the number of rows and the columns. So let's move this one a little bit down. So if I change number of rows, you see my sprite is resizing, but if I change number of columns, as you can see, I can switch. If I select one column, there is the whole sprite displayed. Okay, so as you can see, I can switch between the different sprites. So this is for the sprite animation. I have also 3D models implemented. So Sphere is a 3D model which have a mesh render component where you can pick the shader. So I have a different shaders available at this time. So I have a GUI shader, sprite, basic shader, which is going to affect the sphere, just adding the color, text shader, don't know what's happened with the sphere, image, and maybe I will show you the shaders on actually model, on the better model. But from the mesh filter component, I have a mesh. I have all information about the mesh, how many vertices it has, how many meshes. I can actually change load new model, so I can load different model. This window is not perfect yet. In the future is going to display you all of the models available. I can pick mesh, so we have a different mesh in this windows, but currently there are nothing available. Okay, so let's close it. I can render the sphere in the wireframe, so this mode is available. Okay, other than that, nothing interesting really happening here. I actually have as well the sounds component, so I can have a Windows sound component where I can set the sound file. I can play the sound file or stop. Okay, so the looping is not implemented yet, but the sounds is actually quite behind what I had as schedule. So let's remove this component for now. I can go to the different, let's say to the model now. So I have my model. So this model, on this model I can demonstrate two different shaders. So shader GUI, sphere, basic, text, which is actually dark, okay, model, and the image. Okay, let's go back to the model. So as you can see, I can render the wireframe. I can move the camera backward and forward. The camera control is not great yet, but I will make a UI elements to manipulate the camera. I can save the scene as well. So from let's actually demonstrate. I will demonstrate to you how I can open new scene. So new scene, I can put the scene name, let's say test 3. Okay, test 3. Okay, and now if I open test 3, nothing is available, so I can add component. I have an empty component, cube, sphere, and a terrain. Terrain is not implemented, so I will add, let's say, cube. I will just scale the cube to be like that. I will rotate the cube. I will set it to wireframe. So you see is a cube. Let's move camera a bit down. And maybe a bit out. So I have a different cube. I can add another element. Let's say sphere. And I can reposition the sphere. Okay, so I have a few different things available for me for the engine. So in the view, I have a show GUI. I have a main logger window. So in the main logger window, I can have a system log, shader log, components log, and the entity log. So this log will display all of the information, as you can see, for the system shader loaded. I'm not displaying too many information at this moment, but soon there's gonna be a lot of information in it. So, and now I can actually put this main logger here, and I can close it. In the help, I have about window as well. And that's pretty much it. I have all of the lists of the scene. So that's currently what the state of the engine is. So I hope you like it. I really do. So have another scene, which is a 2D scene as well. So we'll have a few sprite animations here. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this tour of my engine. If you like it, please consider subscribing this channel. It will really motivate me to make another videos. I'm planning to actually making videos from my engine once I will add something interesting, or like a development vlog or something, so I can show you guys the way I'm implementing stuff and how everything is working. And you can ask me question. If I'll be able to answer, I will definitely do, or help you out with whatever you're doing. So if there is no enough Unity tutorial, excuse me for that, because I'm just in my spare time, I'm just trying to work as well on my engine, so we'll be ready to make any games. So thanks for watching, and see you again soon.